What's up, everybody? In today's video, I have a very special guest for you. This is Bill. He's one of my students, and he wanted to come on and kind of explain to you guys how he's been doing. He's been doing really well with his eBay dropshipping store. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. Welcome, Bill. How you doing over there?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you. Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. This is pretty exciting because this is the first time I'm having one of my students on my channel like this. I hope to do more of this in the future, but you reached out to me and kind of offered to do this, so I was like, yeah, let's do this. It sounds really cool.
Yeah.
And but I know that you have kind of like a background that's a little bit, you've worked with eBay before in the past, right? So why don't you kind of tell everyone where you come from before you got into e-commerce, and then how you slowly shifted to eBay dropshipping.
Okay, sure. So I am a consultant by trade. I'm a business consultant. So if anybody's seen the show The Profit, I'm kind of like him, but I don't buy the businesses. I go in and I fix them. But I've been selling on eBay off and on for a long time, and I had an inflatable company, and I used to rent bounce houses and water slides and things like that. So what I did was, when I transitioned to the e-commerce side of it, I started manufacturing them. So then I started selling them on eBay. So I had a pretty large business going there, and stopped out for a while. I sold it, and I just kept doing my thing, and I turned back to it. So I started my thrifting, and I started that back up, and I still do it. I do very well in it. I mainly do clothes and shoes and knickknacks and things like that. And then watching the people on YouTube like Raking Profits and some of the others. I ran across, you did a video with Steve, and I saw that, and then you guys were talking about a course and drop shipping, and it's funny because I told my wife that I was like, you know what, we could take things from like Walmart and sell them, and she was like, no way. And then I just kind of, I just didn't think about it no more because I was so busy and thrifting. And then I saw that you had a program out, and I was like, let me diversify a little bit. Let me see what this is all about. I didn't understand it. I wasn't really bought into it at the time, and so I went ahead and bought your program, which is a phenomenal program. And I watched the videos. Some of the videos I didn't watch, like how to open an eBay store, what's PayPal jail, things like that. But the things that I did not know, I watched and I watched and I watched. So I watched it over and over and over again, because I learned something new each time I watched your video more than once, which was really good. And then I was like, what the heck? Let me see what happens. So my wife she had an old eBay store that she did not use anymore. It had like 60 or 70 positive feedback. So we called them up and said, hey, is everything in good standing? And that was it. I started, and it's funny because in the very beginning I was so discouraged, and I actually posted in the Titan in the Titan group that I was quitting. I'm done. I was having issues with DSM. I was new. I didn't know how to use it, and I said, I'll just stick with thrifting. I know thrifting. I'm doing well in it. I'll just stick to it. And then, I was just like, I'm not giving up on this. I mean, other people are doing it. And I'm the type of guy that if somebody can do it, I can do it. So I just started slow. And last month was my very first month. I bought your course, I believe, in the very beginning of March. And so all my sales and everything that we're going to talk about, I did this while learning. So if I was running into a snag, I would open up one of your videos and I'd watch your video on whatever my snag was. Like in the very beginning, it was tax exemption. I just jumped in feet first. I started posting without being tax exempt or anything like that. I just threw my margins up, and I just started. And then slowly but surely, I started catching on, and then I got tax exempt at Home Depot and then Walmart. just started, moving on. And then I ran into challenges like everybody does, especially if you do Walmart. You get, stuff gets canceled, and then you're freaking out on why they canceling your orders. So I've learned all the way through, and now I understand better. So this month in April, I plan to have a banner month. I had a goal. I shot for the stars in March. I have a saying that I say to my kids, my older kids, is that I would rather them shoot high and miss than shoot low and hit, and that's what I did. I shot high for March, and I went over by almost $1,300. So we'll share that one.
Well, that's awesome. So it sounds like in the beginning, before you started this, you kind of weren't sure if this was even possible. So how did you get over that mindset and start taking action, even if you kind of weren't even sure if it worked?
So I guess my mindset is it's funny because it's everybody that's on your Titan page on Facebook. Because I post in there, even today I post, I like, throwing up my experiences when someone's having challenges. And I was watching the post, and I was seeing somebody having the same challenges as I was. And then I would go and I would, do what that person said that they did. And lo and behold, it worked. But one of the main things that I recommend that everybody does, and that I did, was I found somebody that's another Titan who did your course, and we have not partnered, but we've teamed up, and we talk every day, and we talk about our challenges. We boost each other up. How many sales did you get? Well, how many did you get? Well, I have a great product. Let me give you my product. Put it in your store. See how it does. And I found it a lot easier to work with somebody else in the same structure to get through the tough times. And that's what we're doing, because he had a real tough time in the beginning, and so did I. And we kind of mentor each other in the same dropshipping business. Mm-hmm. So I found that to be very helpful, to have somebody that you can lean on.
That's great. I didn't even know you were doing that. That's really cool. So I built the Facebook group so people could talk to each other, like exactly what you're doing, get help, ask the questions. But I didn't even realize that people would break off and form these like mini masterminds with each other. That's really, really cool. How did you get in contact with this other person?
At first, it was just on Messenger, and I think I posted something, and then he replied to it, and then we just kind of had a little dialogue. And then I was like, hey, here's my number. Just text me, and we can talk that way. And he did, and then he says, hey, would you mind taking a phone call? And I was like, sure. Let's hop on a call. And now it's like we've been friends for a long time. Scott Shapiro, big shout out to you. So his name's Scott, and he just got into dropshipping as well. He took your course, and we're together. I mean, we're doing great. He's doing great in his first month. I think he's like 2 weeks into it. He had some issues in the beginning, but he's 2 weeks solidly into it. I think he's up to like $4,000 in sales.
Wow.
So I mean, he's doing very well. So I hired my first VA towards the middle end of this month, and we talked, and he was like, well, do you think I should do it? And I was like, what's it going to hurt? Hire him for 10 hours a week, let him post, see what happens, see what sells. It can only help you. So he did. He hired his first VA last week, and he's 2.5-3 weeks into it, and his VA is doing a phenomenal job. I mean, finding him good products, he's optimizing, he's doing the search like he's supposed to, and so it's growing. The business is growing, and that's what we're all here to do, right?
Yeah. So this is kind of interesting to me because I had always waited like a pretty long time to hire virtual assistants, and it seems like you guys are going right out the bat hiring virtual assistants. And I'm kind of curious, first of all, how that decision was made, and second of all, how it's affected your store and your work with the store since hiring a virtual assistant.
Yeah, so I kind of bring over my consulting into my own business, and as well with people that I talk to. And one of the things that I consult on is placing people in your business. And one of the things that I teach is, hire somebody who's smarter than you, right? So you hire somebody to do the day-to-day operation stuff, and they're responsible to make the business grow, or they're responsible to hire somebody else to help the business grow, right? Because you can't do it all on your own. Mm-hmm. So I just figured, what the hell, I'm just going to go ahead and hire her. I can, I still got a full-time job, so. But luckily with my sales this month, I haven't had to dip into my own money, which is good, which we can get into. But I went out and I found somebody who was smarter than me in this, who had the optimization skills, who had the DSM skills, who had the eBay management skills, and I hired that person. And my business it's moving up. And that's where I want it to be. Now, if it was moving in the other direction, then I would, take a step back and, I would regroup.
Sure.
But always hire somebody smarter than you in your business, and you'll grow. It's a phenomenal thing.
Cool. So you're still working a full-time job, and so tell me about everything you're doing and how you're doing all of it, because it seems like you're doing a lot.
Yeah. So. I'm fortunate to have in my full-time job. I'm a week home, and then I travel a week. And when I travel a week, I only have like evenings. When I get back to my hotel, so I just break open my laptop and I do all my order and I answer all my emails and things like that. So I carry my business with me, which in this line of business we can. We can do this. Mm-hmm. And then when I'm home, I'm a good multitasker, and I do, I can work on my full-time job at the same time as dropshipping. But the one thing that was key that I figured out is that I have to minimize my listing myself and outsource my listing, and that's what I did. I outsourced my listings, and I went from 600 items in my store a week and a half ago to like almost 900 today. Nice. So, and that's all because I outsourced my listing. Mm-hmm. And because of that, I'm getting more and more sales every day. Before it was ones and twosies, now it's tens and twelvesies a day. So it's all about putting that perfect person. And the one thing that I tell all of my clients is that you got to do it. You just have to pull the trigger. Because if you don't, nothing will ever happen. Yes, you're going to fail. Yes, you're going to fall on your face. Yes, you're going to lose money at times. Mm-hmm. But you did it, right? So, to everybody watching this, you have to do it. If you're thinking about hiring a VA, start them off at 5 or 10 hours a week. Hire that VA. All they're going to do is help you grow your business.
I think that's great advice. And I also know that you're a father too, right?
Yes.
So you're finding you're able to juggle all of this together with that as well?
Yes. So I have two older kids, 21 and 20, and 22 and 20. Sorry, and I also have an 11-year-old. So they're pretty self-sufficient, and my one's in college, so she's busy with her stuff, and my son's a real estate agent, so he's has his own thing going. It's really it's really my younger one. But the good thing is that like weekends and evenings and things like that, I'm able to break off and spend that time. And what's nice is that like I go to the parks with my kids, but my business is in my pocket. I can answer emails. I can, I can talk to my VA. I can, do whatever from my phone. So, and that's the nice thing about this type of business.
Yeah, definitely. So I know people are probably wondering about your numbers, but before we get into that, I just have one last question. I just want to know, and maybe a lot of people are wondering this as well. If you have a job that's going well, why do this? Why did you decide to start both the thrifting and then the drop shipping?
Yeah, so I mean, just like you with your full-time job being a lawyer, we don't have to do this. I mean, I'm very comfortable. I make an excellent living. I love sales, and I love customer service. I love helping people. I feel that I provide a service, or that we as drop shippers provide a service to our customers that they need, right? Mm-hmm. We were talking about it the other day. There are people who don't like to shop at Walmart, who won't shop at Walmart or Home Depot, or haven't done it. They've only shopped on eBay. They're comfortable with eBay. They're in a rural area. They don't, their closest store is a Dollar General, right? And they have nothing around. So we provide a service for them. And I love the sales, and I've always done it, and a little extra money never hurts anybody, right?
Right.
So I mean, I'm able to do the extra things for my kids, and for myself. We just built a house, so we're decorating it and doing stuff for the landscape and things like that. So that just helps.
Cool. I understand that. Yeah, definitely. So speaking of that, I think a lot of people want to hear about your numbers and how well you did this month, both your sales and what all your expenses were. And if you don't mind just kind of sharing like a breakdown of all your expenses too, because
Sure.
I think a lot of people would be curious about that as well.
Yeah, so the expense part is an important part of the key to know exactly what your take home is, if you will. So I did $11,295 in sales in my first month, and I had $8,559 in products that I physically bought, $1,121 in fees, which is eBay and PayPal. So that brought me to a net of $1,615, which is a 14.29% net. So that is just sales minus product minus eBay and PayPal fees. And then I added my cash back. So I used, I know you teach to use giving assistance. For me, I found that Ebates did very well for me because I got 7% on a lot of the stuff that I sell. And I also got 5% on a lot of stuff. And I bounced back and forth between the two because when I didn't get that, Ebates only gave me 1% and Top Cashback gave me 3% on just normal everyday stuff. So I bounced between the two. So I had $297 in cash back. I only had a very small portion of my credit cards, which that's a big topic for everybody. And that's because when I used my credit card, I got some cancellations. So it kind of scared me a little bit. So I kind of veered away from the credit card. So I only got like $31 in credit cards, but hey, it's still free money. So it just adds to the total. So with cash back, my total is $1,912, which is a 16.9% of net. So that's, cash back and after the products and eBay fees and things like that. So now let's get into the expenses. So my hard expenses was my VA. She was $227. I have my eBay store, which is $75. And then I have DSM, which is $40. And then I use the GoDaddy for my financial stuff, which was $10, $9.99. So after we subtract expenses from the 1912, my money in my pocket after everything said and done was $1,560, or it's 13.81% of total sales.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that?
I feel pretty happy. So what this is going to allow me to do is, this is going to allow me. I mean, even if I wanted just to withdraw $500 and throw it in my personal account, I can do that because I'll have $1,000 to put back into my business. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put the whole thing back into my business. Maybe give my VA more to do. Maybe give her more hours during the week. So it'll allow me to do a few things, which I'm pleased with.
Cool.
So yeah.
So why are you putting so much back into your business?
A couple of reasons. The first one is that I do have a full-time job, so I'm able to afford to do it,
Mm-hmm.
and because I want to grow faster than normal. And if I deplete money out of the business, I won't be able to grow it as quickly as I want to. So I'm able to go ahead and just put it back in there. So, some people might, want to, go out and buy something with their money. I just want to put it back into business and grow it.
Cool. That's awesome. Well, congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. And let me tell you, if it wasn't for your course, I wouldn't have been able to do this. It would have taken me months. So your course, actually, it puts you, not only me, but all of your students, it puts us 1 to 2 months ahead of the curve, which is awesome because I don't think I would have figured out, I'm telling you, I would not have figured out tax exemption as quickly as I did with your course. And being tax exempt is everything. I mean, you're just saving so much money by doing that. And you're able to put more margins, back into the business, which is what we're after. So thumbs up to your program. I look forward to something else, and I can't wait for your VA course to come out.
Thank you.
Because I'm gonna soak that up as well because I'm sure I can learn quite a bit. Maybe for my second VA. I still have a lot of questions about it. I'm still brand new with the VA, but right now I'm scared to give her access to my eBay account, which I know if I did, she could do wonders with it, and I know this because she's a very smart person. But I'm just a little hesitant right now. So that's the kind of stuff I want to learn.
Cool. Well, I'm a little embarrassed because I wasn't expecting that like glowing review from when I asked that question. But thank you, I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And
Well, yeah, it's the truth. I mean, it does. It puts all of us, me and all of your students, a minimum of 1 month above the curve. I mean, even if you're brand spanking new, because you just touch on really important things that we need to know as drop shippers.
So I want to be respectful of your time, but I want to see if you have any last parting words for everybody. Like, not everyone does as well as you did your first month. So first of all, congratulations on that. You should be really proud of yourself. I can tell that you're a really hard worker and that you really approach things in a very smart, analytical way. But if you have any last advice for people, I think they would really love to hear from someone who's been as successful as you.
Yeah, don't give up. I mean, just keep working at it. Ask the questions. One of the big things, especially for men, we have big egos and we don't like to, ask for help, but ask for help. That's one of the things that I learned on early in my career is never be afraid to ask for help. Because believe it or not, there is somebody smarter than you out there. And just like with fighters, there's somebody, a better fighter than you are. So always ask for that help. And that's what I like to see on that forum is people asking questions. Because there's people like myself who just got through with something crazy that I can go on and say, I just did this, this is what you did. And there's quite a few very intelligent people who went through your course and who are on there and who are giving great advice. Stick to your guns. One of the things in business is you have to know your numbers. Know your numbers weekly. Always go in, look at your sales versus, what your you pay for your product and what your fees are, and just kind of keep track of that, weekly, not at the end of the month. Always do it by the week. I do it every couple days because that's just what I do. Because there are some times when I first started, I was losing money because I wasn't doing some of the financial stuff right, as far as the margins and things like that. And then when I wasn't tax exempt, I was like, oh crap, I forgot to put that in there. So I would lose $2 or $3. So know your numbers, stick with it. It works. I mean, that's it. I remember you doing a video and you were saying that, there's nothing special about me. Anybody can do this, and it's true. I mean, you just go on and, you throw things on your store from another source. I mean, it's not rocket science, but the thing that you do need to understand is you need to understand what your margins are and what you need to sell the product for, especially if you're not tax exempt. That's a big one. And just stay with it, man.
That's awesome advice. Well, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Yep.
And I'll put your email underneath this so people can reach out to you if they want to.
Okay.
And maybe we'll have you on again in a few months. It'll be great to see your progress.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right. Have a great night.
All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So I hope you guys liked that interview as much as I did. I was really excited to see one of my students making a profit so quickly with their store. I think Bill said he did almost $1,400 in profit his first month after taking my course, which is really awesome to see, because one of the things I talk about in my course is that it does take some time to get your store going and to begin to make money with it. But it seems like if you have the right mindset, the right persistence and determination, you can start making money even sooner than that. So congratulations to Bill. And if anyone here is interested in checking out the course for themselves, of course, the link to it is underneath this video. And if you have any questions about what Bill and I talked about, go ahead and leave them in the comments of this video, and I'll be sure to answer them for you. And maybe I'll have Bill on again in the future so we can catch up on his progress in a few months. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Have a good one.